Hello everyone, welcome back to the stream, welcome back to the channel, and yet one more video of working on the tale of two phantoms, the F-4B by Tamiya and the F-4D by Academy. I'm building both at the same time. If you guys have gotten this far in my series, you already know what I'm doing. So I don't think there's much of an explanation I need other than hit that subscribe button, hit that like button down below, because over 80% of you that watch my videos are not subscribed. So just subscribe, please. Please do it. I would be greatly appreciated. Please, 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 please. Yeah. Anyway, where are we? Well, we got both planes almost at the end of the runway, ready for takeoff. They are very close to being finished, and it's just a matter of really putting all the final bits and pieces together on them. So my goal today is to actually finish the Academy kit. We're going to do the Academy kit first, and then we'll finish the Tamiya kit. So we're going to try the Academy kit, and we're going to see what we've done. So last time I started doing the seats, right? You watched me do the seats, painting them up, putting the seat belts on. Frustrating a little bit with the photo etch not being very cooperative with me, but I did get them done, and I will show you the seats now. This is one of the Tamiya seats. Okay, let me change my camera. Hold on. Hold on here. Just hold on. Change this back. Here's our Tamiya seat. Okay. There's the Tamiya seat. Okay. Just like that. Okay. Fun stuff. And here's one of the Academy seats. Obviously the seat belts maybe not correct, not enough, but there's something, and that's really all I care about. Okay. We go side by side with them. Let's see if I can hold them both at the same time, and you can see the difference between them. The Tamiya obviously a little bit better detailed, but yeah, so there you go. Okay, there's the difference in the seats. Let's change this back now. Yeah, that is our difference in the seats. Okay, so those are ready to go in. They're basically going to be maybe second to last thing I do, something like that. Yeah. So yeah, so what are we looking at? We look at I want to mark this off as I go. Oh, hi Mega Boy, how are you? You're not going to respond, are you? Sometimes I think Mega Boy is a bot. Okay, so let's just look back in our instructions for the Academy kit. Okay, go back step one. Obviously cockpit's finished, landing gear base done. We go to step 3. All of this is done, wings are together, engines are in, seats obviously finished. Okay, they want you to put the seats in here, but we didn't do that, did we? No. Nose cone is on, all those giblets, intakes are in, that's done. I've put the little cowl on the front. I've got the rear engine arrestor hook, that's in. I need to put in K7. So let's find K7 in the kit. Gotta find our K tree. Of course, K is at the very bottom. We need K7, which is this piece right here. So I'll get this off the sprue. This has to be painted black. This is one of those things, this is going to be a little detail that it's in there, but I'm not really going to see it, I think. There's not much to it. Because this is supposed to, you know, Tamiya probably would have had you put it in here like this and put it inside. Academy wants me to put it on the plane, and do that. So, but this needs to be painted black. And so, it's kind of ironic. This thing was molded in black. So if I really, really wanted to, I could just, instead of painting it, just scrape my gray primer off and which I think I'm just going to do that. Watch this. I'll change the camera for you. Let's just the problem with doing this is you run the risk of breaking it because you got to put pressure on it to that's a pain in the neck. Let's try the knife again. Yeah, the knife does a much more efficient job at getting rid of it. So I'm just going to do this, get it back to its base color, of course, which is black. And while doing this, we're making sure it's yeah, see, this is why I think Mega Boy is a bot. Mega Boy is a bot because he only says hi and then disappears. Never says anything else. So anyway, yeah, let's get all this paint off of this and get it nice and black again. Let's get the inside too. And you see, I just putting the pressure on it to scrape it, I wound up almost breaking it. Almost broke it. I didn't realize I was putting the pressure on it, squeezed it really tight, and almost broke it. That's okay. It's fine, it's fine. It's fine. Okay. Paint's all scraped off. We got a clean piece here. Okay, so it's going to go, where are we here? It's going to go right there. Okay, so let's grab our kit. It's going to go right here. So although they have it, they show it facing with these two little dots at the top, and it's facing like this. Let me get my tweezers here. It's going to sit like this. Like so. Okay, so let's do that. Let's put some glue down on it. it is resting right against that, so I might as well leave it like that. And we'll do a little test fit of the canopy to make sure this will actually sit on top, and it does, so that's good. I'm happy with that. What I'm not happy with is that I've got a little bit of smudge. It doesn't look like. I might have to touch up the black. I don't think so. I can't really see it. So I'm happy with that. That's fine. One thing I don't like is, well, I don't know yet. We'll see. Okay, so that's in there. Let's just put this aside. Let's look back at our instructions. Because now I've already put the cowl on the front. Okay, so this is done, and that's done, so it's finished. That's finished, this is all done. This page is done. Okay, flip her over. We want this is step 8 and 9. Let's look at 10. That's done. The tail fin is going to be done in a minute or 10. We'll get that done in a few minutes. Landing gear is all done. This is all finished. Okay. Step 12. Step 12, our air brakes are in. Remember the air brakes that sit almost 90 degrees? Done. Our weapon pylons are done. This is the center gun pod, if you were to actually build that, but we're not doing that. Missile assembly, bomb assembly, finished. Center tank assembly, finished. Okay, here we go. So, canopy. Canopy is going to be closed on this plane, which I told you guys before. We have a couple of little shocks to put in there. K35 and 36. K35 definitely is going to be visible, especially here, and 36 is going to be here. Is 36 going to be visible with this closed? There's not much point in me putting it on. Yeah, you'll be able to see it in there. So let's grab K35 and 36. Okay, now I have a feeling I'm going to be painting these. Yeah, 35 and 36. So the little nub, little bottom part needs to be black, and then we need to do chrome on the actual shock itself. Okay, so I need to put a little bit of chrome on those. Shake this up. To put just a little drop of it on there. Stuff does really come out. It looks like in small quantities and on small parts, this Molotov liquid chrome really is like no other. I really have not encountered another paint that really looks like chrome on small little parts like this. So I really do highly recommend this Molotov chrome. Nothing else looks like real chrome like this stuff does. Okay, I'm going to put those aside to let them dry. Because I'm not ready for the canopy to actually be installed yet. Why? Because this plane needs to have some armaments put on it first. Well, armaments, ordnance, whatever you want to call it. I believe ordnance is the correct word. I want to get the underbelly done first. Okay? That is priority. Because we put that on, and then step 16, there is no step 16. That's literally the last part, is this. So let's put this aside because we don't need that instructions. We need the other sheet that's going to tell us, this is going to tell us our layout for our missiles and stuff. Excuse me, got a frog in my throat. So we already have our sparrows on there. But we need sidewinders. So we have these. Now, these are definitely lefts and rights because this line right here, that needs to line up with our spot on the landing gear. So obviously this is the wrong side. It has to go over here. And it's going to line up right there. Now, one criticism I do have is there's no pegs, there's no pins, there's no holes to line these up. So it's going to be really easy to get these crooked or not exactly in the right spot. And that's what sucks about this particular kit. So I think it's supposed to line up with this section of the landing gear beading. I believe. I could be wrong, but I believe that's exactly how it's supposed to go. It's like that. I'm going to compare with the Tamiya kit just for literal comparison's sake, because Tamiya does have the holes on each side for them, and so we can try and see exactly where it lines up. And it's right on that, kind of right in the middle there where that lines up like that. Okay, so let me get a drink here. Okay, so it's basically going to sit right there, and that's where it's going to sit, just like that. Okay, it kind of does suck that there's no alignment hole at all, that you're just winging it. Literally, you're just winging it. So put some glue on there and try to get it as close to the spot right off the bat. And get it straight where it needs to go. I would like to be able to clamp it or something, but can't. So just trying to get it as straight as possible and leave it like that. Let's see, can I balance this? I'll grab two of these and put them under the wings like that. So it's going to be flat. And we're going to do the same with this side. It's going to go right there, exact same spot, just like that. Yeah, okay. Okay. There we go. So those are on, as good as I can get them. So the last things we need are our fuel tanks. Okay. So we got to grab our fuel tanks. Fuel tanks are over here, and I get to try and figure out which ones are which. there's our center tank. And then we have our two side tanks. I should have two side tanks. There it is. Our two wing tanks. Now, this is real fun. We have pegs, but we got no holes. There's no holes. So, where exactly do they mount? Right? Where do they mount? There's no holes. So maybe I'll just do the center tank and that's it. Does the center tank line up? Kinda does. Well, the holes are not quite big enough, so let's just make that a little bit bigger. Make that one a little bit bigger. Now the holes might need a little bit of massaging because of paint and decal stuff. More paint as weathering had been done. So yeah, that sits a lot better now. Just like that. Sits down in its spot. Seems to be all right. Okay. Let's put some glue on it. Okay, a little bit of pressure just to make sure it sits. I want to get some thin on there, just a little bit. Just to help a little tiny bit. Having a look, it doesn't look like I have it really seated down very well. I'm happy that it's not interfering with our little air doors on the sides here. It's not interfering with this at all. And that's nice. And one thing I do need to do, and I want to get this done now before I move on, is I want to touch up this greasy weathering on the wing tip on both sides. I need to touch that up a little bit. And so I'm going to do that with some mineral spirits and a stiff brush. Not this brush. With one of my Mr. Weathering brushes. Let's go with this guy. Dip it in this mineral spirits, dry it off a bit. I want to just kind of smudge this up a little bit. Stippling is what they call this. Just to, I guess, blend it a little better. Same on this side. Just because it's not blended very well. That looks a bit better, I think. A little more realistic. Okay. Wanted to get that done just before moving on to the top. So I don't want to cut these nubs off and try and line it up somewhere on here. So I'll just save these for another project one day, I think is what I'm going to do. Because there's no holes at all, I don't know exactly. It's going to be near impossible to get them in the exact spot they're supposed to be in. And so, yeah, I don't like that at all. So now that this has had a moment to dry, I can tip this, and I want to get in there with some extra thin on the front to just make sure I've got a good bond in there. Same with my side pods. Okay, the belly is finished. The belly of the beast is all done. And we can put, oh no, you know what? I stand corrected. This thing still doesn't have any exhausts. So, that's these guys. There is a little notch there. I believe there's a notch where it's going to have to line up. If I twist it, it should find a spot right there. It's happy right there. Okay. So, notch felt like it's over here somewhere. There it is. Just like that. Alright, there's one. Found the notch pretty much right away on this one. There we go. Our cans are on. Finally, this thing's got some exhaust. Alright. So, with that finished, we can flip this puppy over. Put her back on her feet. All right. Okay, with that done, let's put our tail fin on. This guy right here, here's our tail fin. It's going to sit like this. This little front piece. See, what they've done is they've added this tiny little point sits in there and literally just came off. So I need to re-glue that. And of course, Academy's fit leaves a little bit to be desired. Still gonna need more, but and of course our little tip is not quite aligned. That's better. Tail fin needs a little bit of pressure to get it to sit down proper. Make sure it's straight up and down. Of course, this is why Tamiya has such a large tab on theirs, because this one's floppy. And we don't want a floppy wing. We want it to sit straight up and down. Come on, smarten up. Freaking wing. Okay, there we go. All right. Glue is set a little bit now, so I'll add a little more on this side. In an attempt to make sure it stays straight. Okay, here we go. The tail fin is on, and pretty much straight up and down. All right, so we're going to work on our canopy. Do I want to work on the canopy? No, I do not. I want to put the seats in now. So these guys have a little thing at the bottom here, and then there's a little rest inside. So they kind of sit just like that. They just kind of drop in with no issue at all. So that's nice. So put a little bit of glue there, glue at the front of the seat, because that's pretty much all it's going to contact with. I don't think it's going to be contacting the back, but it just might. So the last thing I want is at some point the seat comes loose and flops around inside the cockpit. So there you go. There's our front seat. Pilot seat. And now the same thing with the, I believe he's called the Rio. Co-pilot. Whatever you want to call him. The man in the back. There we go. He's in. There's our two seats. we have completed cockpits now. And now we have our little window. And what I'm noticing on this is the glass is hitting the top of the thing. As I try to get this lined up, it's pushing it up and away, and that really sucks, because I can only get it to there. And since I can only get it to there, this is going to go like this and have that gap, because it's going to sit there. I want this to sit like that. Now, since I'm going to have the cockpit closed, I think I might just glue them all together as one piece. That might be my best bet. Glue them together as one piece. I think I'm going to do that. Yes, I am going to do that. Which didn't work at all. So I want to do extra thin, but I don't want the fast set on this one. So I want to be able to hopefully this will hold. Gonna hold this time? No, shit. Resorting to the fast set. Okay. I don't want to glue it onto the plane yet because I need to paint this with a flat clear. So putting the canopy on the plane is going to be the last thing I do. There we go, we're together now. So I want to set this in such a way that it's going to sit nicely and not get interfered with by anything. So we're going to put this over here. So that I don't touch it by mistake. Okay. I need to clean this up. So I need a little more stippling done. This makes it look a little more realistic when you stipple it and blend it in a little bit like that. Okay, let's throw these away. Get them out of my way. Okay, we're at a point now where I can finally put our wings on. Okay, now because these are actually Tamiya wings, what I need to do, I've got a lot of coats of paint, especially the clear, on this part, and I want to scrape some of it off of this where it's actually going to contact the Academy kit, because I want it to glue nicely. And of course the contact is kind of crucial in letting this thing actually sit flush. Okay, so there's one side, and same on this one. Let's just scrape away some of this clear paint I've got on here so that I get a nice good bond. Alright. Now, because there's no definitive spot to line this up, so I do know that when these are down, the wing basically sits like this, and that this is at this level, right, with this piece here. This tip goes right in there, and so I basically pretend the wings like this and just tip it up like that, and it glues like that. That's my basic philosophy on how I'm going to get this thing to work like that. I kind of want to have the plane sitting like this so that I can balance it. So let's just do this. Okay. I have a feeling I'm going to be picking this thing up anyway. So glue on there, and just for good measure, a little extra glue on here, because I also have to try and line it up. So it's gonna be something like this, in that degree, back a little bit. It's all just kind of a bit of guesswork, and hope that it stays. Hold it for a minute. Hope that I have it aligned, that it's right, that it's flush, that it's not going to tip on me. Seems to be all right. Okay. If you move it too much while it's trying to set, the glue seems to not, I don't know, the Tamiya regular glue doesn't like a lot of movement when it's trying to set. So yeah, seems to be all right. I seem to got it lined up pretty okay. give it another minute. I'm going to try and sit it back down on its wheels and see how it sits. Okay, and check my text message while that dries. Seems to be holding, seems to be staying put. That's a good sign. That's a very good sign. Okay. So, we're going to leave that just like it is. And we're going to do the other side. Obviously now I can't sit the plane on this side like that, so that's going to be the tricky part. Glue on here. Okay. And glue on this one. And try the same thing. Lined up as best as I can. This one's not being as cooperative. And for some reason I got glue on my freaking thumb. We're gonna have to try again, because I got freaking glue on my thumb. Where did the glue come from my thumb? Seriously. Seriously. Okay, I think we're holding. I think. Oh, we're looking for angles here. Too much. We're not really holding. Yeah, especially when I bump it. When I do that. Stop it, frickin' asshole. Sometimes, yeah, now I've bumped my tail fin. So it's crooked. Not anymore. I think we're holding now. I think we're holding now, guys. Alright, let's set her down, see if she stays. We're doing good. She's staying. And my tail fin is straight. So that's awesome. That's good. So, you guys might have noticed my stars and bars on the sides of the plane look like they're brand new, while the rest of the plane looks pretty filthy. Well, that's because I have not weathered over the decal yet. So, that's going to be next. So all I'm going to do for that is use my AK's panel liner. Put a little smidge of slobs on there and make it look a little dirty. And I want to do just a little bit on the front here. The front of this, the nose, is just a little too clean compared to the rest of the plane. Just a little bit, but not much. So, let's grab a brush. And sorry you can't see this, but you guys saw my other video, you know what this looks like, what I'm doing. Just kind of painting in some lines on her. It's all going to get cleaned up anyway, so. And then just do a couple on the nose here. It's just a little too clean. It's just a little too clean here. So there we go. I also think we're a little too clean on our tail fins, on our control surfaces, so we're going to do that. We're not dirty enough. These guys saw me do this before, so there's not much really to see anymore. There we go. Okay. So, pick a spot on the rag that's not too filthy. That's a good spot. Pick this up where it's safe and give her a bit of a wipe. Just kind of dirty the waters a little bit, right? That's all we're doing. And now that decal looks a little bit more realistic. It doesn't look like somebody's just painted that on yesterday. Looks better. I'm going to do the same on the sides here. Just a little bit of a smidge. Just to dirty it up just a little bit. Hold this in such a way that it's careful, careful. There. Just a little bit dirtier, a little bit better looking there. Yeah. Just a little bit. That's all I need. Now, for these, it's going to be a bit trickier because I've got wings in the way. Especially these ones. Now I just bumped this, so I don't like that. I'm going to have to add more glue to that. That side is the tricky side for some reason. Actually, both sides need more glue because they have been bumped. So I'm going to do this upside down. And there. I'm not 100% happy with how well these cans have glued in there. All right, flip her back. Woo! Okay, I think she's dirty enough. I don't think I need to do any more grease and grime on it. I think that looks pretty good. It just needs a nice flat clear coat. So let's get that ready. Now I like to use Tamiya's TS80 for my flat clears. Sorry, I won't do that by the microphone. So I will start with the underside and do that. Get all my angles. Try not to paint my hand too much. Okay, and I'm going to call this can empty. And I'm pretty sure I have another one. 79, you need a TS80. TS80. I'm pretty sure I have another flat clear. Right there. Sometimes my local hobby store doesn't have stock, and so when they do, I'll buy like 3 cans of it. And I also like to write on the lid, flat, clear. Because I keep it right beside my semi-gloss clear. Okay, so I gotta let that dry for a minute. Now it's not looking quite so shiny, is it? So, last but not least, well, not last, there's 2 things I need to do. I need to address the dirtiness of the exhaust, okay, and I do that with pigments. So I get my black pigment out, if I can find it. I have it somewhere. That ain't it. AK's pigment line, just black. And I'm shaking it out of habit. But you don't have to. Now this is already looking pretty, it's looking pretty dry. It's nice flat. It's really beautiful how it does that. And of course, because I had a clear over it already, the decals now are nice and beautifully looking like they've been painted on instead of looking like super shiny decals. That's one thing I find very, very beautiful about that. I love that. Looks really good. Okay, so are these going to be tall enough so that the wings don't interfere? That's going to be the $1,000,000 question there. As I flip this puppy over, see, I don't want to play around with that just like that. I don't want to handle this too harsh because the clear is not settled. I mean, it's okay, it's done. The clear is dry to the touch. But is it cured? Nowhere near it. It takes longer to cure than that. But I need to put some soot on the bottom of here because I only clear coated up to about here. I didn't go past because I need to put some soot on there. But I can't really handle the model too harshly right now because of that. So while I'm waiting for this to cure, so the one drawback to spraying the whole thing with flat is little instrumentation in here also gets some of that paint on there and flattens it out, and so you don't see the nice glossy dial gauge and everything like that. So I happen to have my X22, and so we're going to make that clear again in there, especially this one. And especially this one. Make those shiny again. Okay, thinner. 15 minutes. So we're going to have to be done in 15 minutes. So I'm going to take a bigger brush, this guy here, okay, and all you do is dip it in, get some on your brush, clean it off a little bit. Now I'm going to try holding it like this, and we just kind of brush it on a little bit. Just kind of like this. And we're just making it black. And what I like to do, because this stuff likes to get messy, just kind of doing this, almost stippling it on there a little bit to get it to bite into the surface. I'm going to put a little bit on the wings here just to dirty them up a little bit, to show, hey, some of the exhaust even gets on those. These exhausts are dirty on these planes, right? There we go. Now I could use a pigment fixer, but I'm not interested in that because I'm about to put some flat clear on that. There we go. So there, we've got some dirty exhaust panels, and fortunately I didn't have to hold the model too tightly to do that. So I don't want to dump pigment everywhere, so close that up, move my brush, move this down to my garbage. This pigment dust gets everywhere, as you can see, and it doesn't clean up very nice, not without thinner anyway. Okay, so I need a little bit more clear, especially on the bottom part, flat clear. Just to get rid of the shininess on the back end here. And we're done. Okay, so the clear is done. Nice flat clear. So the last little bit of assembly is going to be our cockpit. So we got to grab those two little shocks. There we go. Our two little shocks that we painted chrome. One. And two. So they want the short one going in the back. He's going to go in right in there. That. sure it's going to fit. It doesn't fit. Okay, we need to trim it to fit. There we go. So at least it's in there, and you can see that it's there. That's the main thing, right? And it's going to be the exact same with the front one. I'm probably going to have to trim it also. With the seat in there, it's a little bit hard to see it now. But it's there. And yeah, I've got to trim it off too. So let's get glue on there. Put it in its home. And because of the loop we have in there, that gives me an idea of where it needs to sit. There we go. Okay, so we had our pieces glued together here, right? So we did that earlier. So, in theory, everything fits together just like so. I've seen so many guys that use PVA glue for the canopies. I'm not 100% sure why they choose that route. I've never had an issue. I know that some glues will want to fog up the glass, but I've never had that issue with the Tamiya Super Thin. In fact, even if you get it on the actual clear part, it doesn't seem to affect it much as far as how it looks. And so there we go. Our Academy kit is finished. All done. All done. Looks pretty nice. So at the end of the day, the Academy kit looks nice. You can do a pretty good job and get it looking pretty good. But as you've seen throughout this build series, it has had some challenges when compared to the Tamiya kit. So, would I recommend this one over the Tamiya? Definitely not. If you want a bit of a challenge, sure, go ahead. But as you saw, the tail fin, it's just going to be a whole nother story. You're going to see when I put this together next time. Look at that big tab that this did not have. This is going to make sure that that fin sits on 100% guaranteed. Boom. And it ain't moving. It ain't moving, right? So, yeah, there's that to consider, right? But that's going to be it. She's finished. The Academy one is done. Done and done. And it looks good. I'm glad that I went with the way I did with this one, doing the U.S. Navy version, especially the Jolly Rogers. You know, the tail fin looks really cool. Yeah, it looks good. It looks good. I don't really have any complaints as far as the way it turned out. It looks pretty cool. Yeah, the The wing mounted fuel tanks would have been nice if they had told me to drill out holes for them, but I don't recall ever seeing anything in the instructions about drilling the holes. Now I could be wrong, I could very well be wrong and have missed it at some point when assembling the wings. No. There is a point where you're putting the engines in, they tell you to drill the holes in the center for the center fuel tank, but not the wing mounted. They don't tell you. There's no pointing any lines anywhere to tell you to drill out the holes for the wing mounted tanks. So I stand corrected. I stand corrected. On the next page, or actually before this, up here at the top, this is where they mention it. So it's my fault, my bad. I missed that part. Drilling out the holes, not only for the tanks, but also for the missile pods. I missed that step. I missed that. That's my fault. And there's a lesson. Read your instructions carefully, because I missed that. That's my bad. That's on me. That's all on me. Still came out looking pretty cool though, right? But anyway, this is where I'm going to leave it for today. Next time, we're going to finish off the Tamiya kit. Okay, finally. Going to be done tomorrow. So, with that, I want to thank you guys for watching. Thanks for coming out. Thank you for all the support. And yeah, we're going to finish that Tamiya one next time. And so, we'll see you all in the next one.